Since all our Mission Smile members have already attended CarTrade Tech's presentation, we'll just that that may be some sort of a repetition, but I think it is very relevant here because there are a lot of similarities and dissimilarities, and when you compare two different business models, your understanding of looking at different businesses get better, right? That is the whole purpose, nothing else. So sort of similar. So I've taken the market cap of after yesterday's close. So both of them have similar kind of market cap, similar kind of revenues. So both of them are somewhere around 10 times their sales, which looks obscenely high because we are not used to this kind of valuation. And that is why, that is the challenge of investing in companies like this. And that is why I told you that why we have not yet had RateGain in our lump sum portfolio, but it is there in our SIP portfolio. However, again, a disclosure, CarTrade is there in both the portfolio because CarTrade got a much sharper fall in February, March. So we were lucky to have CarTrade because I think at that time it came down to around 6 to 7 times sales. And that is where we bought in our lump sum portfolio also. Again, a disclaimer, as a SEBI registered RIA, this is not any thing to do with any recommendation. Do your own analysis and take a call only after taking consideration of a trusted advisor. We as an SEBI RIA entity, we must make this disclosure that we own the stock because you should be aware of our biases, if any, would be, right? So stakeholders involved, in case of CarTrade, there are OEMs, dealers, customers. In case of RateGains, so CarTrade is not just B2B, but also B2C. But in RateGain, it is completely B2B. CarTrade में you will see new car में एकदम duopoly है, मतलब 50% is on car देखो and 40% is with CarTrade in new car business, technology business, right? As in the online business. So that is the kind of advantage they have. Samil, again, the Shriram Automall, they have a monopoly. And in used car, it is a extremely competitive. There are many players. But in case of RateGain, as we have discussed, there are many competitors, but all of them are, most of them, in fact, are point-to-point competitors. The advantage with RateGain is it is probably the only vertically integrated player having presence in all those three segments, right? Now let's come to the competitive advantage. So CarTrade has a competitive advantage of being only player in India to be present in the entire value chain of online and offline ecosystem of buying, selling and auction of cars, bikes and other way. So यहाँ पे आप देख रहे हो vertical भी है और horizontal भी है. Vertical कैसे है कि they are there present in the whole value chain. ठीक है, ऑनलाइन भी कर रहे हैं, ऑफलाइन भी कर रहे हैं, डीलर्स को भी कैटर कर रहे हैं, कस्टमर्स को भी कैटर कर रहे हैं, एंड ओईएम्स को भी कैटर कर रहे हैं, राइट? एंड देन हॉरिजॉन्टली कैसे है, कार्स है, बाइक्स है, अदर व्हीकल्स भी है, राइट? सो अदर व्हीकल्स मतलब ये जो बड़े बड़े व्हीकल्स होते हैं जो श्रीराम ऑटोमॉल में ऑक्शन होते हैं, so those are also part of their business now. So just to give you many people who might not be aware of it, CarTrade Tech holds 54% in Shriram Automall. Okay, then RateGain में we have already shared vertical model है. Addressable market size CarTrade Tech का much bigger है क्योंकि ये industry is in a far nascent stage compared to RateGain, because RateGain में because of OTAs in the last 10 years, that industry has already seen some growth. So probably CarTrade Tech is a much niche, much nascent industry compared to RateGain. Promoter experience दोनों में बहुत अच्छा है. If you look at Vinay Sanghi, he has more than 2 decades of industry experience in the car business, car dealership business. So earlier, first 10 years was more on the physical side, and then the last 10 years is on the both physical and digital side. Look at Bhanu Chopra also. You will see 2 decades of experience because 2004 में he started this company. So it's almost close to 20 years now. The only difference we found in the promoters, थोड़ा सा ऐसा लगता है कि Vinay Sangvi is not as confident as Bhanu Chopra, but maybe that is because of some personality, because ऐसा नहीं है कि he doesn't have a clear clear cut strategy सब उसकी भी set है. It's just that the way our interaction with both these entrepreneurs, we believe Bhanu Chopra comes across as a much focused and confident person compared to Vinesh Angli, right? Then you can look at the formation early years. So RateGain शुरू से एकदम bootstrap थी. 2014-15 में जब P investment मिला, उसके बाद they scaled up their business, and that made them go into a completely different orbit. Disco, फिर आपका ये माई होटल शॉप एंड ऑल, ये सब एक्वायर करने के बाद इनका बिजनेस का एक लेवल ही अलग हो गया है, राइट? एंड इन केस ऑफ CarTrade Tech, it predominantly started as a VC funded business because 2010 में एक PE investor was a co-founder, and then they acquired car wale, bike wale, Samil over the years after that, right? So IPO RateGain में और CarTrade में डिफरेंस ये था, छोटा सा डिफरेंस, इनफैक्ट छोटा नहीं है, बड़ा डिफरेंस है. IPO of CarTrade was completely OFS, so no money went into the company. And if you check the valuation at which CarTrade was IPO'd, so it was obscenely high price. I think somewhere around 25 times sales या 30 times sales था, ठीक है. However, RateGain was 15 times sales. So 10 times, 15 times is something which is very reasonable compared to other SaaS players in this. So इनका IPO एक तो reasonably valued भी था, plus it was a mix of OFS and new issue. So some money came to the company, and company actually utilized that money in paying off its Silicon Valley loan. So that is an advantage for RateGain. Plus promoter still has 50% plus stake. That is also an advantage there. बिजनेस मॉडल इकोसिस्टम वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड. यहाँ पे हॉरिजॉन्टल वर्टिकल दोनों है, बट RateGain में ज्यादा फोकस्ड है, वर्टिकली इंटीग्रेटेड ज्यादा है. अगेन एक्विजिशन हिस्ट्री यू कैन सी, CarTrade Tech probably paid up for acquisition. RateGain is much more conservative while doing acquisition. Again, in our books, in that perspective also, RateGain will get more points over CarTrade because CarTrade is paying up, whereas RateGain is being much more conservative. Another way of looking at it is probably RateGain will lose out on some of the opportunities because they are so focused on being conservative on the price. However, CarTrade is much more flexible, and they might keep on getting new opportunities because दोनों के पास cash है and दोनों को acquisition करना है to further grow. CarTrade has around 1,000 crore cash. RateGain has around 450 crore cash lying with them, which they will only use for acquisition because both their business model is such an asset light model कि वो अपने business के लिए उनको जरूरत ही नहीं है cash की, as in extra cash की, right? Their internal accrual is more than enough for their sustenance and growth, right? Future potential, online car buying, selling, and auction is we have discussed. It's at a very nascent stage, so it is not a question of if, it is question of when. And in case of RateGain, we have already seen post-pandemic how revenge travel has been going up. And so in case of RateGain, यहाँ पे एक negative ये है कि it is a cyclical business. Travel is a cyclical business. यहाँ पे अभी आज के दिन everything looks hunky dory. 2 साल बाद, 3 साल बाद, if something happens to the sector, that will affect the growth pattern of RateGain. However, CarTrade Tech में you get a very clear next 8 years, 10 years का view because ऐसे ही ऑटो इतने पीछे स्लो डाउन से निकला है. It is coming up from there. Plus new as in this is an irreversible trend of people buying cars online. आप लोगों में से बहुत लोग सोच रहे होंगे कि ऑनलाइन कार कौन खरीदता होगा, बट इट इज एक्चुअली हैपनिंग. एंड इफ यू 2 दिन पहले इनका ये आया था, क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट आया था. लुक एट देयर नंबर्स, मतलब 3 करोड़ ट्रैफिक है देयर उनकी वेबसाइट पे, एंड 80% ऑफ दैट इज ऑर्गेनिक, राइट? सो बोथ दीज कंपनीज हैव 25 to 30% CAGR revenue possibility for the next 3 to 5 years. Very few companies have that kind of visibility. I'm not saying कि guarantee है कि आ ही जाएगा, but to keep on saying and to show that vision कि 25 to 30% CAGR is possible for the next 3 to 5 years, very few companies in India will be able to say that, right? And key risk, CarTrade we have already covered in our previous presentations, that more competition from VC funded players and slow pace of digitization are the biggest risk. In case of RateGain, पहला risk तो है कि revenue and geographical concentration risk. Second, we have already discussed again the travel wala. And the third, which we actually forgot to mention over here, is acquisition risk, which is there for both these. Okay, acquisition, past is not an indicator of future. Past gives you some confidence. Last 3 acquisition RateGain के बहुत अच्छे हुए. That doesn't give you anything you can't say for the future. कि अरे आगे जितने भी लोग acquisition करेंगे वो सब अच्छे होंगे. So, and acquisition, to do the acquisition rightly at right price and then to integrate their operation with your existing operation is not something easy. So that is a big risk for both these companies.